Holy shit, we're actually live again. We made it back.
Hey,
we found our way back.
Hey,
Right?
we're back at it, man. Another therapy session for you and I.
Absolutely. Real quick, I'd just like to give a shout out to those folks out there. We do see you. You're watching our videos on YouTube. You are listening to our podcast on Spotify. We can see you.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say I appreciate it, man. Like Nelson said, this is like a therapy session for us. We get two friends get together and just hang out, talk bullshit, talk about everything. And it does feel very. I should just start calling you Dr. Nelson.
You know what's funny is that I was thinking about calling you the same thing, not Dr. Nelson, because that's weird, but
that would be fucking strange.
Yeah, but Dr. B.
Dr. B. I would go with Dr. N, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Then I think people might, get misconstrued of things. So we'll go with old Doc Nelson.
There you go. But no, man, like, you know what? Like, I am with you. I want to thank everybody that's been, listening and kind of giving us feedback. Obviously, this is a growth opportunity for us as we continue to like talk about, different things and kind of evolve this podcast. Like Brandon said, I mean, like, this thing has evolved from us just wanting to like hang out and, get, stay connected while we're still remote. But then now it's turned into like this therapy session, man, because like, when I do walk away from these podcasts, like there's always something that we always end up talking about that like gives us a lesson. And then on top of that, like that ends up kind of unfolding into new topics that then also make me realize that one, we should be talking about here, but two, I need to take action in terms of fixing shit in my life,
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So,
yeah, man. I think it's helping. I know it's helping me in my journey of life. Just little different perspectives here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you that, it's definitely. I think the reflection is actually making me grow as a person too, right? Because like, one, like I know that like people are when they listen to these podcasts or watch the YouTube videos, they're like, I know that they kind of sit back and then they're like, oh shit, I didn't know this about that person, or I didn't know this about Nelson, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Which is really good because like there's some things that I talk about in this podcast that I wouldn't talk about with other people. And it's funny just how it unfolds. And to me, like, you mentioned this in the last episode where this whole thing is just very therapeutic as a whole. And, for me, like I look forward to these meetings, man. I look forward to chatting with you. I look forward to, fucking bullshitting and talking about random shit.
Absolutely. I mean, this is really one of the highlights of my week. So without further ado, we'll get the serious stuff out of the way first, guys. So tell me about what's in your mind this week, buddy.
So St. Patty's Day is definitely on my mind, just because of the fact that it was yesterday. But okay, as an older individual, St. Patty's Day was very different for me this year than it has been in previous years. And I'm not saying that in previous years, like I used to like go out and get shit faced and all this other stuff. Although I know that like, Nicole is probably going to be listening to this podcast later on. And she's, by the way, Nicole's my wife. So she's probably going to be like, There was one time I know for a fact that for that St. Patty's Day, you were a fucking shit wreck. Like literally I was. But and I'll go into that story here shortly.
By the way, I'm only cringing because I am old and feel the same way.
Because you've lived it too, right? But like it's one of those things that now that I've gotten older, like now that we're in this stage of discovery or self-discovery within like not only just ourselves but within the community, right? And how different aspects of society are changing, right? Like you had things where like we couldn't products ended up changing their names, right? Like, or even teams ended up changing their name. Let's take the Redskins, for example, right? They changed their name to the Washington team because of the fact that Redskin was a derogatory term. And like through that process, like one of the things yesterday that I learned was that I think St. Patrick was not as a good guy as we thought he was. And he's also not Irish, which is confusing to me. But that aside, I still appreciate like to me, St. Patrick's Day is like Cinco de Mayo, right? Like it just kind of gives you a pass to drink. Like,
dude, it's become like, I don't want to say a Hallmark holiday, but a Budweiser holiday.
like dead on. Yes, sir.
Like, dude, I swear to God, everybody's Irish all of a sudden. It's.
I don't know about you, but
man.
I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm Irish as fuck.
Look
at me. Look at me.
Yeah, I mean, you are
like I'm
Mexican
a leprechaun.
Irish.
Like I'm yeah, like
you're Irish.
I'm Irish. That's the new term, Irish.
Oh my god. But yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, man. My St. Patrick's Day was incredibly different than it has been in past years, and I have had some banger St. Patrick's Days.
Exactly.
To where like I look back and I'm like, ugh. Like you get that. I am struggling currently because the only thing that I can really think about when I think about some of those times that were fun times, but involving alcohol, the only thing I can remember is how I felt the next day.
Yes.
Like I'm like, oh yeah, that one time when we were at the bar, I'm like, yeah, I remember that. But I also remember what I felt like for the next 4 days. And not interested. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what's crazy is that back then, right, when, at least for me, when I used to drink heavily like that, like, I mean, talking about like full on party, like I would be hungover for like a good day and a half, right? Even I would be to the point where I would be hungover and I would probably drink the next day just to kind of like get back into it. There's no way that I'm capable of doing that anymore.
Oh,
like there just isn't. Like I feel that like if I were to get that wasted, I would have a hangover for a solid week. Like there's no doubt in my mind. Like I would be bedridden.
I'm afraid that it would become permanent. Like I'm like, oh well, guess I'm living life in a hangover now.
Like there's no turning back. Hangover every day.
Here.
Hangover every day.
I'm gonna wind up with ulcers for the amount of Advil I would be eating. Like,
right.
Eating them like Tic Tacs. But yeah, I mean, oh God.
No, man. Like
thinking back on the days where I did a lot of the same, right? So I associated a lot of my social life. I can remember probably from about 19. Oh, it's hard to think about. 19 to 24-ish, 23, 24. That was my social life. Like I had a very minimal presence on social media. It wasn't really about that. And things that I talked about on social media were going to the bar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, you're like dead on, man. Like, and that's where like for example, right, yesterday, my St. Patrick's Day festivities consisted of me going to Chick-fil-A. I'm raging right now.
Fire.
I'm killing it right now. Went to Chick-fil-A. Then I went to Nicole's office to go print some documents for like Little League and stuff like that. That was pretty much my night. Like that was the wild night that I had on St. Patty's Day. Now, if you compare that to maybe, like you said, 23-year-old Nelson, here's a different story. So back when I was 23, there was one time where somehow, I don't know how this even happened, but I ended up going to a few bars, and God, I can't think of that area in Baltimore, man.
Fells Point?
Yeah. I ended up going to Fells Point. Dead on. You know exactly what I was talking about. So went to Fells Point, and
this is where all the people not from Baltimore go to hang out.
Right.
FYI.
Yeah, exactly. So went to Fells Point and did a little bit of bar hopping. And I met these true Irishmen, like they were for real Irish. And somehow I decided that I was going to hang with them.
His name was Seamus.
Totally. Totally.
Seamus O'Callahan.
Seamus O'Seamus.
Sean O'Callahan.
Right. But no, man, like, so I ended up hanging out with them. And somehow, like, in my mind, I was like, yeah, I can hang with Irish people and drink. So these guys ended up buying like shots, and I went shots for them. Well, I can tell you that I probably remember the first 3 shots. And then after that, like, I was out, right? Like, I'm talking about, like, I ended up going to the bathroom because I had to take a shit, right? I was wasted. So then I went to the bathroom. I like dropped trowel, sat on the toilet, right? And then all of a sudden I had to puke. Oh. So I ended up puking like wherever I could, which was the only way was straight, right? Mind you, my pants are down to my ankles while I'm sitting on the toilet. So I got like vomit in my pants, vomit on the floor. So then the next thing that I know is that there's a bouncer outside of the bathroom telling me to get out, right? So like I like panicked and I like picked up my pants, put them on. Again, vomit's still there. Pulled up the pants, right? Then I got escorted. And by escorted, I'm talking about I was held by like a half Nelson, like straight up wrestling move. and I was thrown out, dude. Like I was thrown out. And then like I remember like going out into the street, and then there was this lady that like gave me ginger ale. I remember those flashes. And then the next thing that I remember is Nicole hosing me down outside of our friend's house because she didn't want to like take me in there. And I'm talking about hose down. Like I'm not talking about like, you know, like a exaggeration of this whole thing. I'm talking about it was a hose and she was spraying me down as I'm naked outside. Again, mind you, it's March, so it's still cold. And she hosed me down. That is the comparison of 23-year-old Nelson partying and Nelson of today partying. Way different. Way different.
So I don't know why, and I don't know about you guys at home, but I just have this mental picture. I'm trying to find some of you just like getting hit in the face with a thing of water and just like
oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Like I
honestly, not even like giving a shit.
Oh no, just, none. Like I think at that point, like I was just a being. Like I don't even think my brain was functioning. I don't think that like
dude, that's a life-changing moment though.
Oh man, it sure was. It sure was. Now so, here's the kicker to this, right? The kicker to this is that I was probably getting hosed down at like 8 p.m. So like you have to picture that. Like I didn't even
so you woke up at 4 a.m. thinking that it was like 2 days later.
Oh yeah. Like I woke up like what happened? What's going on? I don't even know what these clothes are on me. Like I had no clue, dude. Like that's how bad it was. So and I learned my lesson. I mean, like I'm not gonna lie to you. I learned my lesson. One of them is that like I'm definitely not Irish. I learned that. Number 2 is definitely don't drink with true Irishmen. And then the third one is like, you know, you may not want to throw up in your pants and also pull them up and then, you know, mix them around with like, you know, like all the shit that's in there. You don't want to do that. That's one thing. So, and by the way, I believe I was wearing khakis during that time period, which is even worse.
Yeah. See, you threw the khakis on there. Like that might have been a detail I left out.
See what I mean? Like I'm with
you. So, bro,
like,
let me just tell you this. So, where my head's at with this entire thing is, and don't get me wrong, I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But those times, actually, I can honestly say, um, I've never repeated the exact same thing again. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never. So
let me tell you
story.
why I'm laughing. Let me tell you why I'm laughing because because that the way you said that was like the most polite way of saying I'm not a dumbass like you, Nelson. Like I learned my lesson. I'm not a fucking idiot.
Well,
Let me tell you why.
I wanna preface this by saying, I mean, like, so let's bring up one of my stories, right?
Yeah,
So
let's hear it.
one of mine, we wind up going to a new bar in town. So in this time frame, I was I don't know, probably 22, maybe 21. New bar in town. Um, St. Patrick's Day. It's a weird kind of bar. It's like a half indoor, half outdoor. They got the garage doors that go up. There's like outside activities and whatnot. It's too cold for that shit, but they still got it all open and everybody's doing whatever, freezing their asses off. And I'm like, whatever. And so I was also cheap. I had a green beer first, and then they were doing a special on tequila shots.
For St. Patty's Day?
Yeah. So okay. I think it was because it was probably just like a dumb joke or something like that. But I was like, fuck it. And I started drinking tequila. And the next thing I remember is waking up in the back seat of a Volkswagen Golf.
Like, but you didn't know whose car that was?
No, that's the car that we drove there in, but I didn't know where we were. Like, like
so they legit left you in the car. Just
yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
And apparently we went to a strip club then.
Oh.
I wasn't aware of that. And I continued to drink more tequila.
Oh my gosh, man.
So, but like I've never done that with tequila ever again. Mm-hmm, like I've never drank that much tequila again. So that's where it's like I get it both ways, I guess. Where like, yeah, I for sure after that went out and got hammered and was hungover the next day, but never once did I do it with tequila again. And I don't believe I've ever blacked out so hard in my life. I still don't know everything that happened. Like, you know how it comes back in waves?
Yeah, absolutely.
Still have no idea.
Yeah, that's how I feel about that day as well, man. Like if you held the gun to my head and you said you have to recite the details of what happened that night, I mean, I can tell you a broad idea. I can probably tell you a general idea of who I was with. I don't even know what bar I was at this point. Like, I don't even know the lady, like that lady that gave me the ginger ale. I don't even remember what she looked like. Like, there's just no way.
You also have no idea who she is.
No, I have not. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like, you know, like the lifestyle is completely different. And, you know, like there's a piece of me, right, that goes like, oh, you know, it'd be cool to like, you know, kind of do the whole celebrating of St. Patty's Day, like not like back in those days, because I definitely don't want to black out and any of that stuff. But there's a piece of me that goes, maybe it'd be fun. But then there's the other side of me, right? But then it goes back to, well, do I really want to feel like shit the next day, or do I not? Right? And that's the thing. Like, I don't want to feel like shit the next day. Like, the idea is fun, but the actual effects and the aftermath, I don't really want to deal with.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can see myself now just trying to make that decision midway through, being out drinking, like, you know, go out to dinner, have a couple drinks, do whatever. And then you wind up like, you get to that feeling and you're just like, if I don't stop, this is gonna suck.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And dude, I'm a firm believer that That is a life lesson that I have achieved expert level at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I definitely have learned how to control the liquor.
Yeah, me too. Me too, man. Me too. I also like I also drink better things than I used to.
Oh
Because like,
God, yeah.
back in the day, like I probably like Miller High Life
Oof.
was like,
MGD,
oh, oof, oof.
75-cent cans of MGD.
Oh my God, Steel Reserve. Oh,
Ooh, how
oh.
about Mickey's?
Dude,
Throw up
King Cobra, Mickey's,
St.
Old
Ives Special
English,
Brew,
St. Ives. Oh my God, yeah,
little
dude. Oh
Mad
my
Dog
God.
2020,
Oh, oh, God. Ugh. Like I
and
just, dude, I as soon as you said that, like, you know how you get like the little like feeling along the like your jawline where you start salivating, but then it's
oh,
like that nasty salivation where you're just like, I never want to taste that ever in my again. That's what it was when as soon as you mentioned some of
you're
those
definitely
items.
like you start your mouth starts watering a little bit, and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, man. Like there are certain things right now. If I smelled a melon ball Boone's Farm right now, it just instantly brings me right here.
Oh my God, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The only reason why I say that for the melon ball Boone's Farm is because we had a beer bong competition involving melon ball Boone's Farm, and let me tell you, after you beer bong like 3 of those things and then throw it up, it's still cold.
Oh yeah.
It's a feat of science and engineering,
Yeah,
folks.
it absolutely is. So we used to use the melon ball and mix it in with McCormick gin.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was that was so stupid. But then there was the other aspect of there's the other aspect of I also had God, what's that stuff called? Not Alizé, Hypnotic. Dude,
Oh,
I
Hypnotic and
cannot
Hennessy?
dude. Well, okay, look, I cannot have Hypnotic again in my life. Like that's one of those that like as soon as I smell it, like my stomach just goes, "Fuck you, buddy." Yeah, my stomach is just like, "You're a piece of shit. I still have not forgiven you for it. I'm never going to let you live this down." That's how my stomach reacts
Oh,
to
without a doubt.
it. It's
I mean,
terrible.
and then they came out with what was that stuff? It was like the strawberry version of Hypnotic. It was like kinky or something like that.
Oh, I don't know. Was it? I mean, was it good?
I get the same feeling.
Okay, fair enough. Because yeah, man, like
So my go to for a long time. I mean, much as I would say most people in our age group, Jaeger bombs. All right.
Mhm.
Uh, I can taste Jaeger on demand.
Oh,
All you have to
really?
do is say the word, and I can taste it.
Now, is it okay? But is it like that negative taste, or is it still a positive thing for you?
Um, I would say it depends on when, where, and what time.
Okay.
Because every now and then I get a little like, man, I could go for a little bit of a Jaeger bomb. The thing that I would love to avoid is the Jaeger shits you have the next day.
Oh, yeah.
Because, dude, I'm telling you, anybody in that mid 30s, late 30s, maybe even as early as early 30s. Maybe I'm including people that shouldn't be in there, but everybody knows that shit you take the day after you had 8 Jaeger bombs the night before, and it's like, dude, why is there maple syrup coming out of my ass?
Oh,
I
yeah.
just don't get it.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
hot maple syrup just flowing out of my ass. And
You're like a full blown IHOP commercial.
oh my god, yeah. Like it's just pouring down the mountains. Um,
Oh
you
my
know,
gosh.
dude, but
No, I'm
and then like, dude, it just that fucking taste in your mouth would last for like days.
yes,
Stuff would
yes,
taste different.
yes. You know, okay, you know the problem with the Jaeger bomb situation? It's okay, the Jaeger bombs itself, they're pretty bad, right? Like the next day.
Yeah.
The problem is that like you also eat through that process,
Oh,
right? And like you eat whatever you can get your hands on, meaning like 2 a.m. Taco Bell or like
wings.
oh my god, what was that pizza plate? Hot tomatoes?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you would get hot tomatoes, right? Like, and the next morning, so you got to consider the fact that not only did you have Jaeger bombs, but you also have those things, and like your body just hates you. Your body
Bro.
hates you, and it slaps you in the nose, like, bow, this is what you made me do, you little son of a bitch. Now you have to pay for it. So I'm 100%.
I think the worst one. I think the worst one was Jaeger bombs and Ann's Dairy Cream.
Oh my god,
bro! I had a double dog after.
Oh
Jaeger
my
bombs.
god, no,
Like,
no.
and it was one that was in the refrigerator first.
Oof. Ooh. Oh my
double
god.
dog with chili cheese and ketchup.
Damn.
But
you didn't like yourself back then, did you?
Oh God, no. But what? Okay, can I just say something though?
Yeah, hit it.
Because this is the other frustrating part about getting older is like back then I could drink 12 Jaeger bombs in a night. I mean, that was pretty average.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, go eat shit like double dogs from Ann's Dairy Cream and come out tomorrow and weigh 3 pounds less. The fact that the words Ann's Dairy Cream double dog came out of my mouth, I just gained 3 pounds, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. 100% I'm with you.
100%. Like if I think about Domino's too hard, my blood pressure goes up. Like it's crazy.
So that's the con to getting older. The con to getting older is the fact that no matter what, you're gonna gain weight.
Oh,
like no matter what happens.
Unless you're an absolute psychopath, because I've never seen a happy person running. Now, granted, there's going to be a lot of people that go into the comments now and say, you're crazy, you know, I'm happy and I run every... But are you really?
That's true, huh? I mean, like, okay. I feel like you do get, like, okay, the what is it called? Runner's high? I feel like that's
I
true.
think that's your body just lying to itself. Just to get you through it so you don't fucking die.
your body's like
your body's like, ooh, this is gonna be bad. Release them positive
I didn't even think about it like that. That is
Euphoria
true,
on cue. Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I used to enjoy going to the gym a lot. I did a lot of lifting, a lot of working out. But man, it did not take many cheeseburgers to get it all back.
See, okay, that's part of the problem. Okay, part of the problem with losing weight and staying fit is the fact that like you have to work fucking hard to lose the weight, but gaining it is so easy. So like almost like your return of investment is not as great.
So does that mean that biologically we were engineered to be fat asses?
Yes, I want.
Then why am I fighting science?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, you know what? Science made me.
For all you people that want to be healthy out there and want to enjoy that lifestyle, I'm not judging you whatsoever. Do you, boo boo? But I'm just gonna let go and let DNA.
No, I'm with you there. Like, you know, anybody that like wants to work out, good for you. I'm 100% with you. Like you know, you're probably listening right now and you're probably like, oh, you fucking idiot. You're probably going to die at like 60. Look, I've already assumed that I'm going to die at 50.
Right.
So you giving me the 60 ratio, you're doing me a favor. But either way, like I'm 100% with you. Like if you are, you know, somebody that enjoys fitness and somebody that gets what they need out of it in terms of like the joy of life, and you know, feel like that is something that is part of your daily routine in order to make you feel good, by all means do it. Like you like Brandon said, do you, boo boo, nobody's stopping you. But for me personally, right, like I go through these phases of like, I'm either like I either don't give a fuck or I do care, right? And like now I found this like really weird situation where I can play with this stuff, right? So like if I go on a health kick for like a month, I could probably lose a little bit of weight. But then the problem is that then I go, okay, I ended up losing 5 pounds in a month, but I could gain 5 pounds with one cheeseburger. Like again, the investment that I'm putting into losing the 5 pounds is not worth it.
No, month-long hell versus a healthy meal.
Right, a happy meal,
Happy meal,
not
maybe not a healthy meal.
Right, not the trademark. I'm talking about like a happy meal, like
A
I'm actually
happiness
happy.
meal.
A happiness meal. There we go. A happiness meal.
That way, the word penis is always in it. Just saying. Sorry, I had to go there.
That's hilarious.
You said penis. But yeah, I mean, dude, so I personally feel like I don't know if living the longest is the answer.
See what I'm with you, man.
I'm starting to feel, again, I'm kind of coming into this in very recent times, but I'm starting to feel like maybe the long game is not. It's not the win.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the quality of life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like
Yes.
That's what I have to say to people is like, okay, you guys eat nothing but grass. Do all this working out and doing whatnot. But like, don't get me wrong, I am not into like complete and utter like I'm not a shut-in. I go outside every day. I have to be mobile all the time. Don't get me wrong, there's some days where I just want to lay on the couch, but all in all, I'm not talking about becoming completely sedentary, but I'm going to eat pretty much whatever I want, and then that's going to get me wherever I got to go.
Right. I don't expect, and I think you nailed it, right? Because I don't think the expectation is not that I'm going to be on my 106-pound life. That's not what it is.
No.
But I am going to flirt a little bit with possibly having high cholesterol. Like I'm going to flirt with that a little bit. Like
I'm gonna do some fat ass shit.
Yeah. Like like I'm gonna toy around with my hypertension a little bit, right? Because like
I'm gonna dabble.
I'm gonna dabble.
I'm gonna dabble in a little bit of high blood pressure.
Right? Exactly. But you're right, man. Like I think you know what? Like now that I think we as a society end up. One, I think that we were taught to always fear death, right? Like we were just accustomed to that, where like because of the fact that we don't know what happens next. But the problem is that like nothing needs to happen after that. Like it's okay. It's okay that your life ends when your body stops functioning, right? Like and to me, I'm starting. There's pieces of me that is still scared, right? Like don't get me wrong, like I'm probably gonna like if when I'm having a panic attack and I feel like I'm actually going to have a heart attack, like I stress a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Oh yeah.
But deep down inside, like I'm also like, fuck, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. Maybe I shouldn't have had that extra cheeseburger. But if I make it out of there and it ends up just being an anxiety attack and I never got an actual heart attack, I'm probably going to end up doing the same thing next week. Like I'm probably going to get the same cheeseburger.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And you know what? I think that's that now, like kind of to bring it around the corner here a little bit. Our first part of our conversation was learning lessons from drinking, right? And now we're into food and we ain't learning nothing.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Like, oh, that was just a little bit of heartburn. I'm good. I'm good. I can eat whatever I want. But I will say, so I struggle with the same thing. I do the self-guilt 1 minute and not give a shit, feel like $1 million another minute. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's hilarious when I do both of those things kind of at the same time.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm going to go to a place that serves fat ass food.
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna order a healthy appetizer.
Right. Well,
Or I'm gonna have a salad with my meal, or I'm gonna have, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
or you're looking for that. I'm not looking for anything off the vegan menu, but do you have something in the middle?
Well,
Maybe some deep fried salad? I don't know.
deep fried salad. Well, here's the thing, man. Like, okay, I think the important thing, at least for me, right? Again, I don't want. And people have their own opinions. Like, you can tell me that I'm fucking committing suicide. I'm a piece of shit because I don't eat healthy, stuff like that. That's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. Perfectly fine. My thing with this is that, like, I tend to, like, I've learned now to kind of listen to my body, right? Like, because your body tells you, right? Like, when you're eating so much shit, your body ends up just feeling exhausted, and like you end up feeling like shit. Your body's just like, dude, you have to eat some greens. Like, you
Oh
have
yeah.
to, right? So I think if you're in tune with what your body wants and needs, I think that you're okay. And obviously, again, I take medication for some of this shit, so I know I'm cheating the system, meaning, like, the whole survival of the fittest. I know damn well that, like, if we really got down to survival of the fittest, I'm the first one to go. I mean, I got asthma, I got hypertension, I got cholesterol issues. There's like a variation of a bunch of things that I got. So I definitely know that I'm the first one to go. But I also now have learned when my body does need movement, right? Like, for example, I'm the same way like you. I don't necessarily just sit at home every day. Like, there's things that I do, but you also are not going to see me run a marathon at this point in my life, right?
No.
But I do enjoy, like, playing basketball once in a while. And
Oh yeah.
like, the moment when I walk upstairs and I get in bed and I roll over and I'm breathing heavy, that's when I go, you know what? Maybe I need to give my body a salad. I need
Well,
to give
dude,
it
and
something.
that's why I'll be honest with you. My biggest health kick, I guess I could
Mhm.
say, is typically starts or begins around this time of year. During the week, I don't do all that great with it, but I try to play as much golf as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And that has become a physical activity, or that is more of a physical activity than I ever knew until I actually started trying to play decent golf.
Mhm.
When you go to the golf course and you just drink with your buddies and you pounding beers, doing whatever, like, you're not paying attention to the fact that you're doing a lot of walking, you're swinging the club, doing this, doing that. But, like, dude, I'm telling you, this last summer, the summer before, if I go out and play a solid 18 holes and I'm like trying the whole time, I come back feeling like I did run a marathon,
Right. Yeah.
and that's the only, I think, because my brain is so engaged in the game of golf itself, I'm not thinking about the exercise factor.
Right.
So I almost have to trick myself into doing exercise.
No, absolutely. I no, and I think you nailed it. I think you are absolutely right that I think, sometimes we take certain activities that we do for granted, right? Like, and we end up, like, not realizing that we end up being more physical than we really are. Again, that's not an excuse to say that, like, I can't be healthier. I know I can. That that's
Oh,
that's that's not the point.
100%.
Right, but the but
100%.
but I subscribe to the newsletter that you're distributing right now of, maybe it's the quality of life, right? Like, maybe, like, who knows? Fuck, tomorrow I could probably be hit by a truck and then I die. So no matter how many times I ran, no matter how many times, like, I bench press 225 pounds repeatedly, like, I still died from a truck, right? So like
Or let's talk about the elephant in the room. Look at how many people got COVID.
right. Yeah,
It didn't
yeah.
care whether you were fat, ate cheeseburgers. Yeah, of course. They go on the news and say, oh, well, if you're fat, then you can get COVID easier.
Right.
I went the entire time and didn't get COVID. I'm not bragging about that fact. Um, and trust me, there was not a lot of safeguarding going on for a large portion of it. I would say I was definitely taking steps to keep my family safe. I was working the entire time. I was out in the world. Quite honestly, I was dealing with people's vehicles who had unfortunately passed due to COVID or, for many, many reasons. And, the people that I typically deal with, I'm not saying all of them. Some of you might be listening. It happens to all kinds of people, but the people that I typically deal with at work, they got some nasty ass cars.
Yeah.
So, I went through the entire thing. I don't know if it's because of my immune system, because I do that stuff regardless. I don't know. There is a possibility that I got COVID before it was cool to get COVID. But even my wife and my fiance and my daughter, they both had COVID. They were here in our house in our house the entire time I was here. I didn't go get a hotel or any of that stuff. I'm not going to not come home, and I'm not going to not be with my family.
Right.
But I still didn't wind up with COVID. But there's people that are, bodybuilders, or people that are, run 5 miles a day, 10 miles a day, whatever, that got COVID and had severe complications. Again, I'm not trying to make light of that situation, but there's a lot of different things. And I think, I'll be honest with you, I think the entire pandemic is what has sparked a lot of my interest in more of a quality of life, meaning, did I have a good time? Did my family have a good time? We love food.
Yeah.
I bought a smoker in the pandemic.
I'm still jealous about that.
We're gonna have to get you a smoker, bro.
Hey,
I think that's a 1-year mark gift if I've ever heard one.
Yes, buddy. Let's do that.
I'm just saying. Anniversary episode, we're gonna have to make them gifts big. Write that down.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I definitely saw the same thing. I did get COVID. And I ended up getting COVID through I ended up getting it from my father-in-law, right? Which is, I didn't even think I was going to get it that way. I thought I was going to get it more from the public and actually, going to grocery stores and doing all this other stuff. But that's neither here nor there. But I agree with you that I think what you're trying to say is the fact that again, America is definitely unhealthy, right? And we're unhealthy because of the way that our food is actually processed and the way that our food is made. The fact that we have fast food available to us at all sorts of hours, it's definitely a problem, right? And it's definitely a choice that I make, right? So I'm not faulting it. I'm not faulting anybody for it. But
nobody's out here holding a gun to my head eating.
Right. But
you're gonna eat this cheeseburger.
Right. But at the same
Ronald
time,
McDonald is not. He's not that guy.
Right. He's not.
All right.
He's not that type of criminal. But no, I feel you're right. Now that you were saying the whole thing about maybe the pandemic changed the way that you think and all this other stuff. I think it did it for me too. And I think you're right. I think it was more of I need to feel happy about what I'm doing, and I need to feel good, and I need to feel again, not to sound, repetitive, but the return of investment, right? If I'm putting in this much work, I want to see the fruits of my labor come into fruition, right? And for me, the easiest way that I see that is by, treating myself well, right? And for me, the way that I treat myself well comes with, doing the things that I like. And unfortunately for me, eating is one of the things that I like. I actually enjoy food. And I'm not talking about eating to I'm not talking about eating to where I have to eat to feel fulfilled. I'm talking about I have to eat because I like the different tastes. I like
absolutely
the different aspects of food, right? I like the different cuisines. And for me, the downside of it is that I have to eat this stuff in order to enjoy it, which then makes me gain weight. But you know what? That's what makes me happy. And again, I know that it's a double-edged sword because I know that I'm feeding my happiness, and at the same time, I'm also kind of removing potential years from my livelihood, but at the same time, like I'd rather focus on being happy and then listen to my body. Like to me, like if my body goes like, hey dude, your hypertension has gotten out of control. You can no longer like fucking, deal with like the headaches, your eyeballs feels like they're gonna pop out of your head because your blood pressure is so high. Then at that point, I may adjust certain things, right? But for now, like that stuff brings me happiness, and that's the thing that like I'm content with, so I'm going to continue to pursue that. And it doesn't matter to me whether or not I live 85 years, because at 85 years I'm probably not going to be able to take care of myself, plain and simple.
Right. I mean, dude, I definitely, you nailed it with a couple of things. I thoroughly enjoy food. Like, I haven't met a lot of food that I didn't have a good time at least trying, you know? Like,
I like how you said met food.
well, you come into contact. Sometimes you order it, sometimes it's given to you, sometimes it's just wherever you're at.
I
So,
dig it though. I dig it.
like, I really, I've enjoyed a lot of food. I really, not a lot of people know this. I love to cook. I have to be in the mood, but I love to cook,
Mm-hmm,
and I
mm-hmm.
love a lot of cooking a lot of different things. I mean, I also really enjoy the learning aspect of like the culinary side of the
Yeah, yeah,
actual preparing of everything and how it directly correlates to how it's supposed to taste.
yeah.
Um, and there's a lot of work that goes into that, guys. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys I watched any. I don't know. Gordon Ramsay's kind of become a joke these days, but Anthony Bourdain. I've been watching that dude for years,
Mm-hmm.
and every single time I watch a different Anthony Bourdain special or show or whatever, or I don't know. There's a couple of anything of that sort, that adventure slash food slash new region, bringing light to a different culture's way of
Yeah, yeah.
food and life and how it all combines. Like, dude, I find that so interesting. And there are things to this day that I have eaten or tried because I saw it. I saw that experience and I was like, God damn, I got to try that. If anything, just because it looks like it would be great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's some of it's some weird shit.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just saying.
absolutely,
But
absolutely.
like there's some stuff that I absolutely love that's like weird stuff. But I'm very exploratory when it comes to food too.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
I always want to be looking for different stuff, looking for new stuff, looking for I don't know, different tastes. I just watched a show about I think last night I was watching it was about France and food from France. And I was like, I gotta find me a French restaurant. I need some steak frites.
Right, right. No, like now that you mentioned the whole cooking thing, like I actually, I didn't know you like to cook, by the way. I've known you for so many years and I didn't know that. But now that I think about it, I can definitely see you enjoying that. I mean, obviously, I know that you have the smoker. Last time I was there, you like made some bum ass pork. So like, I definitely I'm with you on the aspect that I too enjoy the cooking aspect of it because it's an art, right? It's
It
like,
really is.
and like when I cook, it's
Well, and
also
think
an
about it. It's
escape.
also like the ultimate form of hospitality too. Like even if
Yes.
it's your family, like you grew up, I'm sure food is a huge part of your culture and where you grew up, who you grew up with, who you grew up around. Food is definitely a huge part of my culture as to who I grew up around, my family. We had food for everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, you're in the hospital, we're gonna bring you food. Oh, you graduated? Food.
Hmm.
Birthday? Food. Uh, it's Tuesday. Food. Like,
Right.
and food was always a big deal.
No, and you're absolutely right, man. Like, it's 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 unfortunate, but it's also fortunate, right? It's unfortunate that I tend to feel connected to food from that aspect, right? And it's fortunate because I consider it an art form, and to me it's beautiful, right? Like, and I am with you. Like, I love the Anthony Bourdain's, rest in peace, Anthony Bourdain. But you know, like I love the Anthony Bourdains of the world, right? The people that like actually bring light to new cultures, like you were mentioning, people that like, you know, shows you new cuisines. Because again, it's an art style, and I love it. And there's nothing about me that doesn't feel happiness, right, from it. Like I get 100% joy out of seeing and being involved with it. And for you, like, you know, for some of you other people that are listening, right, like you may find joy in like lifting weights, right? And you may find that that is a form of art for you, right? You may enjoy like listening to plays, right? And that's the thing that you enjoy. But for me, I definitely see the food side of things. And that's the thing that like I don't want to almost punish myself by removing myself from that just because of the fact that I want to look skinny, right? Like because like I again, like as long as I feel fine, I'm okay with the way that I look. Like to me, like it doesn't matter if I have a belly, like it doesn't matter if I have like, you know, man boobs. Like I don't, that doesn't matter to me. I mean, obviously, like I do want to take care of myself, but that's not the end all be all for me. Like what's important to me again is what I mentioned, right? Like once I start feeling like fuck, I can't walk up the stairs without feeling like I'm dying, I need to take some action. But for the most part, I don't want to remove myself from the food aspect of my life. That's not something that I
Absolutely
want to
not.
do.
But I will tell you, like, and this is gonna sound rudimentary as fuck, but my gauge is all the clothes that I own. Do they fit? And I'm
Right.
good.
Right.
The
Like
t-shirt's getting a little snug.
right, right.
All right. Time to back it down.
Like do you ever have like a pant size too that you're just like, okay, if I make it to this pant size, I waited too far. Like you have the one
Right.
pair, right? The
You
one
got
pair
that
that
one
you're
pair of
like,
fat pants.
right,
You're
like you're like,
like,
oh,
uh,
these are starting to be a little tight.
like
I gotta cut back on the
gotta cut back.
I gotta cut
I'm
back on
only
the
on the
treats.
one pair I got. But
Right.
yeah, and shout out to clothes manufacturers real quick. Can y'all make the same size shit?
Yes.
Like
God.
I own okay, so I'm guilty of the extreme quest for comfort. Many say I dress like a gym teacher. I wear golf shorts pretty much year round, 365 days a year. I do wear jeans sometimes, not very often, just sometimes. But I wear golf shorts all the time. I wore golf shorts even before I played golf, just saying. But I own, I don't know, 15, 20 pairs of golf shorts. You know, I own several different pairs of Under Armour golf shorts, several different pairs of Nike golf shorts. But let's pick one brand. So we'll say Under Armour. I could have 4 different pairs of size 38 Under Armour golf shorts. Some of those fucking things are tight as hell, and others I
Yes.
need a belt that's, I need to pull that extra loop in the belt just to keep them up. I don't get it.
Yes. Yes.
I don't understand.
I'm with you, man. I wish that they would standardize this shit. And I'm pretty sure like for women it's even worse.
Oh my
But like
God, dude. It's
but
got to be
absolutely
terrible because, dude, I'm sorry, but you get that one pair that's real tight, but it is your size. You're like, yeah, I'm going to put it on. And then you're like, God damn, am I that big? What the? Like,
right.
I might have to go work out. Like,
Yeah, like I gotta take care of my shit. Like
I got to take a
fuck.
healthy deuce or something. Like,
Right, right. Do you ever have those moments where like you put on those pair of pants, right? Like the ones that like you normally wear,
right.
right? But again, because they're cut in different sizes, so you put them on and then you're like, fuck, I've lost it, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm gonna go work out. I'm gonna start this shit. I'm gonna start eating fine. And then you go to your closet and you're like, okay, but I still need something to wear for today. So then you grab another pair of shorts, right? And you put them on and those fit. And then you're like, never mind. I don't need to work out. I don't need to do that.
Oh, I forgot. Those are my skinny ones.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. I do that shit on the regular, dude. On the regular.
right. So I very well determine my life via my clothes size.
Mhm.
So like there's gonna be some variation. I understand different materials, stuff like that. I get that, but I got some that it feels like there's a 2-inch difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, like, as long as I'm still fit, as long as if I were to go buy new clothes, as long as I'm not like, let me get a size bigger, then I'm okay.
Right.
I'm currently in a position where I'm gonna be watching the LBs a little bit.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie.
Right. I'm the same way. Like I'm at that place right now where like instead of getting the double cheeseburger, I get the single. And
Right.
maybe without the fries. Like that's the size that I'm at right now. Like
Right.
ideally, I want to be at the size where I eat a double cheeseburger and the fries without question.
Right.
That's the size that I want to be.
I think it's goal oriented, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you kind of set those little goals for yourself, like, I'm gonna be good. And I find myself doing that day to day. Like one day this week, it was terrible. I ate like a total fat ass. Total. Like, I'm disgusted in myself.
Like just thinking about it.
Just thinking about it. But then, like, the next day, I'm like, all right, today's a healthy day. I'm going to drink my half to a full gallon of water. I'm going to take my vitamins. I'm going to get on my shit, and I wind up doing it, and I actually feel great. So it's like I'm sticking with the vitamins. I'm sticking with my water, and then I'm going to keep going. But it's Friday night. I'm going to order takeout.
No,
I'm cool with. Like,
right.
I'm telling you, I'm cool with. But
no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Like I think again, going back to your original statement of quality of life is where I want to be. And like I said, like for me, I'm just listening to my body, right? And again, like when my body doesn't know how to speak, then I rely on the clothes size, right? But for the most part, like I can feel because I gotta be real. I'm never gonna have a six pack. And sure, people are gonna say, well, you can get a six pack if you work out. Yeah, you're right. I can, but I don't want to. It's not gonna happen. Like I
got $20 says I cry first.
right. Like there was a period, right, where like I actually ran almost every day. I worked out every day, and I still could not get a six pack. And again, I know that people are gonna say, well, you weren't doing the exercise right. Sure, fine, great. I just know that my body is not made for that.
As a friend, can I reflect on that time frame for a minute? I'm trying to be nice.
I was lame?
Dude, you're lame as fuck.
Yes,
A, you were lame as fuck. B, you were
a bitch.
Kind of passive aggressive about
Yes.
Like, and I don't, not necessarily in like a terrible way, but you were almost judgy because of your own life trek, which don't get me wrong, I regardless supported the fuck out of you, and I was actually jealous and a little inspired by it, but I was like, that's not Nelson.
Right, exactly.
You know what I
mean? Like, no. I think you nailed it, man. I think that you calling that out is exactly what it was, because I also had that realization, right? Like I'm like, again, I was running and I was like working out every day and stuff like that. And like it felt good, but I wasn't really happy doing it. Like, I mean, like once I got into it, like once I started running, it was great. But getting to it sucked. And like it wasn't something that brought me pleasure. Like I felt my body felt the best that it could have felt, but I wasn't happy.
Oh,
so
and I don't know if you remember this, so feel free to call me out too.
Yeah.
But, the first time I visited you in Texas, I was definitely on the workout kick. I think me and you actually went to the gym.
Yeah, we did.
But I kind of look back at that time in my life, and I felt like I was a bit of an asshole because of it. You know, and not in a good way, not a nice asshole like we described previously, but I don't know. Like I also felt like it took something from me that I can't get back.
Yeah.
Because I was working out 5 to 6 days a week, an hour to 2 hours at a time. I mean, it typically took that time away from, at the time Paisley was what, 2?
Something like that.
Somewhere around there. It took some important time out of my life. And I have vowed that my quest to really focus on my physique will be post my children's graduation and moving on out into their own life.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm, in that I don't want to say semi-retired, but like that kids are out of the house, what do they call it? Empty nesters or whatever.
Yeah,
When I'm in that phase of my life, yeah, I'll pencil out an hour for the gym.
Well, yeah, because then yeah,
3,
you're
4
right, because
times a week. Like
you're gonna have the time, right? Like there's
but not only that, but am I gonna pick golf over the gym every time?
right.
But and then I'll get into whatever. But at the same time, am I gonna do that now? No, I'm not. But I will go play golf. And I've actually come up with a pretty good schedule for golf. It typically takes me like 3 hours to do 9 holes, 2.5 at the local course where we play all the time. I'll go at 6 a.m. My fiance and my kid don't wake up until 9.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm like walking in the door with coffee and breakfast sandwiches after playing 9. I'm not afraid. I wake up at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning every day. So I'm up early.
Yeah, like 6 a.m. is already like your noon for most of us.
Bro, 7:30 is like lunchtime.
Right.
Like, and that's the thing. Yes, the only reason for my schedule is my work. I don't think it's healthy. It is my life, and I've my internal clock is now set that way. So, but I also, it's important to me to take that time and go play golf, because then I feel like that allows me to eat whatever the fuck I want for the rest of the day.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and I think it's that quest for balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're looking, we started off this conversation by talking about when we drank our faces off to the point where, you're throwing up in your pants and I'm over here half naked in the back of a Volkswagen.
Right.
And now we're talking about things like balance in our lives.
Yes.
And I think that's if you take a sec to just step back and reflect on that, I mean, I think we figured it out, bro.
No, you know what? Like, I think we're going to be closing on that statement alone, because I think you're absolutely right. I think that, again, through these conversations, right, we're figuring things out. But like, you're right. I think, the quality of life is definitely what we are pursuing. And then I think through our journey, right, of growing up, right, one, we started to accept our bodies, right? Because I don't get me wrong, like there was time period where like I was embarrassed to like take my shirt off. I don't really care.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. But like now, like I know what I like and I know what I need in order to make me happy. And yes, there are pros and cons to the way that I'm doing it. But at the same time, like to me, it's I find more value in me having a healthy mental state than it is to not have one. And you're right. Like, when you compare me to Texas, like I was healthy. I was, in crazy shape. I was like, eating the best foods that I could, but deep down inside, I wasn't happy. Right. And I know you felt it, right? Like,
oh yeah.
And I can't even imagine the people that like, saw me every day, right? Like my kids, Nicole, like, they would probably like, what the fuck? Like this dude just, he rather work out than actually hang out with us, which is terrible. But
it's terrible to sit back and think about it like that. But at the same time, I think you kind of got to go both ways in order to get to that balance point where you really got things kind of figured out. So because I look at it this way, if I didn't have that loss of time because of that, and the constant rope pulling the other direction between fat ass and healthy, I don't know that I would make the conscious decision to try to live middle of the road.
Right.
Like I don't know that middle of the road would be my go-to, if you will.
Right.
And I think that us just, again, this conversation, this podcast, it kind of brings light to new things for me, and kind of looking at it that way, it definitely makes me not feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. No, dude, I think that you nailed it. And I think, the way that you've outlined these aspects of what makes you happy and how to gauge. And again, for everybody's completely different, right? Like, we're not telling you
Oh.
that our method of engagement is the right way. We're not saying that. It works for me. And
yeah.
I'm happy with
And
it.
I do believe that me and you are very similar, but we
Absolutely.
have our differences on different things. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
but I do think that both of us are just open to learn from ourselves and each other, and that's important too.
Yep. No,
But
absolutely. Absolutely.
like you
Man.
said, on that bombshell,
Yeah, I think
let's leave you in suspense for next time.
yeah, I think we're going to leave you with this episode with the thought of find out what makes you happy and do it. I mean,
Right.
weigh the pros and cons and do whatever you want to do for yourself. And along the way, you may figure out that things work or they don't work, and you reset and try to change it if it doesn't work. But try to love yourself and find peace, find happiness in whatever you do. And whatever you do, just don't throw up in your pants and pull them up and then kick out of a bar. Don't do that.
Don't do that. And quick disclaimer, definitely go after what makes you happy, unless that means hurting other people or yourself.
And
Don't
on
do
that note, peace.